Hey, Stickies!
Welcome back to the Stick with
Kaji
Kaji Podcast. I'm Luann.
And I'm Sean.
And for me, you can follow me on Instagram right here at Luann Kaji, where I share my fun things that I do every day. Well, not every day, like once a week. Yummy food that I eat.
Yeah, and mainly food. We take a lot of pictures of the food. So let's get started.
Before we get started, I do want to mention we do have Ryan's FanFest coming up November 27th. So get your calendar ready. You can go to ryansfanfest.com up there for more info. It is a free virtual event, fun for the whole family. We've been preparing for it. We're so close to being done. It is coming together really well. So hopefully you guys can join us.
Yeah, it's during the holidays, so it's perfect for the whole family to watch it together. All right, so for today's topic, we're going to talk about how we went full-time on YouTube.
So if you haven't watched part one, how we got started with YouTube, I will put it up here if I can, and also the link down below. So this is actually the part two, so check out part one.
Yeah, it's not too late to catch up on the part one, so just make sure and go ahead and watch that episode too when you have it. When we were doing YouTube and doing our other full-time job, there was a point we felt like, okay, we cannot continue on like this any longer, right? Lauren, you had the moment you felt like you cannot do this anymore.
Yeah, because, YouTube burnout, it's real, especially when we also have a full-time job separately. So we thought, at what point should we just commit to YouTube? Now, in the beginning, I actually wanted to do both, right? Like, I love my teaching job. I love the kids that I have. I worked at a really great school. All the staff and all, the administrator and all the teachers that I was surrounded with was really nice and caring and understanding. And I thought, we can just do both. But there was a point where I found out that I was pregnant with twins. I mean, that's a separate story on its own. It's a whole roller coaster ride. But the point was, when I found out I was pregnant, I talked to Sean and we were like, daycare is expensive.
Yeah, sending 3 kids daycare is going to be pretty much like how much one of our the annual income will be. So we have to think about what to do. Maybe it just makes sense one of us just stay home and take care of all 3 kids.
Yeah, so I thought either way, with or without YouTube, I was going to become a stay-at-home mom because it doesn't make sense for me. As much as I love teaching the kids, right? It doesn't make sense for our family where I would go and teach, students, but then having somebody else watch our kids.
Because Luann was teaching in high school, we intentionally not including her on camera, and I felt like that was a limitation. I thought Ryan would have more fun having both mommy and daddy on camera with him and interact with Ryan. So we were trying to figure out how we can do this with all of us on camera together.
Right. And, with a twin pregnancy, I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, I had a really hard pregnancy. There were moments where I was teaching in the middle of a sentence. I had to tell the kids, just wait 1 second. I would run in the back and having to throw up and try to put myself together as fast as I can to come back without kids, noticing why I was gone.
And even from the beginning, before we found out that Luann had a twin, we knew this pregnancy was a little bit different compared to when Luann had Ryan. She was just not feeling well, and she had a really severe morning sickness almost every day, and that was different from when she was pregnant with Ryan.
Separate story, though. Yeah, I would love to share with you more in details of that. So because that it was a high-risk pregnancy, I had to go to the doctors a lot. When it was getting closer too, Sean had to take me because, you guys don't know, I'm a really short person. Anybody that meets me in person always tell me, you are a lot shorter in person than you appears to be on camera. I am really, 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 really short. The shortest person that you will probably ever meet as an adult.
So having Luann at her height, having twin, it was really interesting because when she was more towards the due date, her stomach was so big that if I just push her just tiny bit, I feel like she would fall. So and it was really difficult for her to drive the car. After a certain point, she couldn't even fit in the
couldn't.
driving seat.
After 6 months, I could not drive because of the fact that I was so short. I have to be really close to the steering wheel, but then my belly touches the steering wheel.
And it's really dangerous because just in case if you get an accident, then the airbag wouldn't really cover it. So I have to drive her every week to the doctor, and sometimes it's twice a week. Just as we come closer toward the delivery date, we have to go as often as possible. So there was a point that Loanne felt like she cannot continue teaching with pregnancy and managing YouTube, and spending time with the kids.
We know, we did have like a deep conversation. We know how unstable YouTube is, right? Especially in the beginning. We did have that Lightning McQueen giant egg surprise took off, but at any moment, right? It was kind of scary because at any moment that video could just tank.
And also that means, we are just assuming we continue making the videos, right? And who knows, if Ryan doesn't want to do the filming video anymore, then we want to stop right there, right then. So we are also thinking about our own career too. If Ryan wants to stop the video, and yes, we're gonna stop the channel. But then, if that's the case, then can we go back to our the previous job after that point? So we thought about all different scenarios. And luckily, Loanne, in her teaching job, it's always just somewhat easier to come back to her existing career. And mine, too, it's easier to come back to, too. So we thought maybe it's okay to take a chance and step away from our existing career and put full-time on the YouTube.
Like we mentioned, either way, I was going to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. With my teaching income, it was pretty much impossible for us to send our kids to daycare.
I was a project manager at that time when Loanne was pregnant. So for me, taking off the work and sending the Loanne to doctor each week was a huge issue for me to keep my position in the company. So I had to choose whether to leave the company and continue taking care of Loanne at home, or ask somebody else to help me taking care of Loanne and continue on working. I wanted to be there for Loanne for this pregnancy, so I just left the work and focus on helping Loanne and working on full-time on YouTube.
Yeah, but luckily we had some money saved, so if Ryan doesn't want to continue or if something happened, we did have a little cushion room to figure out what we want to do.
And we had Ryan really early, so we were still young at that time. I was still in 20s, so even if he decided to come back after a few years, I'm sure it's still okay for us.
So my parents wasn't wealthy or anything, so we purchased the first townhome on our own. That was a big commitment. We learned so many different ways to save money. So we weren't afraid if YouTube didn't work out, what are we going to do? Because I feel like as long as we stick together, we'll be okay.
Yeah, and I think it was a really huge advantage for us to that we have started our relationship back in college when we didn't have any money. So we know how we were before started earning money. I wasn't too nervous, even if if we become a little bit unstable. I know we could support each other because we already have experienced that during the college.
And as we previously mentioned, I wasn't like super stressed out going full time into YouTube because Ryan's filming time is very limited. It's usually around 3-4 hours a week, as we previously mentioned. And even if, even some weeks we don't even film at all, I think anybody that is friends with Ryan in real life, that plays games with him online, would know he has plenty of time to play video games.
Yeah, actually, we're not really being great parents on the as far as the managing the Ryan's computer or screen time, because he probably does play video game a little bit longer than the other kids, but he loves doing it, and he learns the coding and some other component of the aspect of the PCs and the computers. So we thought it's great, but yeah, he does spend a lot of time on playing video games.
It's hard for us to manage right now because of COVID. He doesn't really get to hang out live with his friend all the time as much as he used to. So we are pretty lenient at this moment for him to play games with his friends, especially during this time. So
way more than we would like to admit on camera.
But as soon as the COVID settles down, then we're bringing back the old kind of the routine where just limited screen time and he get to go outside and play with his friends. So we're hoping that comes back soon. We thought doing the full time on YouTube was great for the family because one, we found out, if we do full time on YouTube, we could spend more time together. Both of us had a different job before and not being able to see each other. But now, if we put full time on YouTube, then we're working together. So pretty much spend every single day together. And just between Loanne and myself, now we just have lunch together, dinner together. Just pretty much 24 hours we spending time together, and just of course the more time with the kids too.
It's the pro and the cons, right? I love spending time together with him, but since we spend 24 hours together, it's hard to ask questions, and to carry on conversations sometimes. Like, hey, how's your day? Because I know your day.
You know my day.
Yeah.
You saw me. But yeah, it's also hard too because we do pretty much everything together, so it's hard for us to let's just do something on our own, like just separately. Because no, I can do it too. I'll go with you. But so far we moved to Hawaii and then we just started seeing a lot of activities we can do together. So we're having fun. But yeah, back to the track on the discussion about our benefit on doing the full time on YouTube was one, because we were able to sustain the viewership and also the fan base. There was a good revenue flow that we were able to use those to buy a new house that's more secure and more secluded, so we can make sure keeping the kids and families safe.
Better school too. We're able to be in a neighborhood where the public school system is really good. A lot of families, when I was a teacher there, a lot of family move in to that neighborhood just so their kids can attend that school. Yeah,
we really wanted to live in a closed community, so we feel connected with the people living in that area, and then want to be able to support that community and also be supported on the making sure Ryan's privacy is there. So when Ryan started going to the public school where we used to live in Houston, all the teachers were very supportive in making sure Ryan's privacy is protected and making sure that all the kids at school treating Ryan the same way they treat their friends. So the money we put aside for kids, it's not solely for their self. The way we set up for their financial accounts, what we envision was for them to pass on to their children. So it's generations after them too. We don't, I'm sure when Ryan grows up, the majority of the times when he have a family, he wants to spend the majority of his money toward his family. So I want to make sure Ryan have enough money. When he have family, he can spend those money for his family as well. So yes, the part of his financial fund is for himself, but then we're also enjoying he could spend that for his family and another generation after that too.
Right. Our goal is to build a legacy where he can take over if he wants to. But yeah, we'll talk about that more in the future episode on the business side and what is the future of Ryan's world. We don't know if we can make it there, but that is our hopes and dreams.
As we put our more time into YouTube, there are a lot of goals that we set for ourselves and our content. Our number one goal was to inspire the viewers, the kids, to engage in their own in outside of the screen time. What we want to do was do DIY video or science experiment video where kids watch the video and we inspire them to do similar activities after they watch the video. So we don't want is the kids watch video after video. Our content, we want it to be something more enriching and engaging. And we also wanted to be able to teach a good lesson for the kids to be a good person and have a good moral sense too. And that's something that we wanted to teach Ryan too. So we wanted to teach Ryan in the video, and also at the same time through Ryan, we were hoping to send these great message to the viewers as well.
It's a balancing act sometimes because, we want Ryan to also have fun doing it. So there are times where we do just silly, funny skits because, the last thing I want is for Ryan's to be like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is not for me.
So we wanted to balance the type of content we cater on our channel, not just fully educational, but there's some other components we want to build in, entertainment part too. Because when kids just keep watching the educational video, they feel overwhelmed. So we want to combine the entertaining video as well. So we're trying to combine educational video and entertaining video and trying to create a brand that's edutainment brand. So Ryan would enjoy filming, and also kids enjoy watching and learning something new. So that's the goal that we set for ourselves, and I think it came out great because Ryan felt like he's doing a wide variety of different type of content throughout these years, and he feels always being challenged and engaged and interacting. So last episode we mentioned about, we always talk about pros of doing YouTube, but there's definitely downside. There's cons of doing YouTube. So we want to explain some of the experience we had before that it was a little bit challenging or difficult for us when we started the YouTube. One thing was of course, everybody imagine it's a fame, right? Now everybody recognize Ryan, not just Ryan, but the whole family too. Even just myself alone by herself, go to a store and buy stuff at the shopping center, people recognize us. And a lot of times it's very nice. They just always just say hi and then ask us to take a picture with them. And it's always just fun interacting with them, but it's not always like that. Sometimes there is a time that maybe Ryan's not feeling well and we have to rush back home, but then people still stopping us, not knowing what's going on, and sometimes it's hard for us to say, hey, I'm sorry, right now we're in a rush, we cannot really spend time right now, we have to go home. So those are the times that's a little bit difficult for us. And we also have to think about how Ryan feels about his fame too. At school, pretty much any kids recognize Ryan now.
Yeah, we were nervous at first about that. But, even in his old school, too, when I start asking him questions or I start talking to his teachers about how does other kid treat Ryan and how does he feel, the consensus is that, yes, when he goes to a new class or when kids, see him for the first time, they get really excited. But after a few weeks, they realize that he's just like any other kid, which he is. And so they treat him as just their friends, and he's not this famous, influencer per se, that he's just a regular kid just like them, which that's what we want for him. And same thing, that's why we're able to put him into extracurricular activities, like we just go to the closest gymnastic that we can find. We're not going out of our way, to try to hide him or anything like that. Same thing. Kids recognized him, but after a few lessons, they realize, oh, he's just a kid like me. He's just doing the same moves as I do.
Those people from those extracurricular activity classes people are very supportive that we were able to do it. And so, in exchange of doing YouTube, you need a lot of community support to keep your privacy. And we've been very fortunate that we were able to maintain that with the support from the people around us. Yeah, and another thing about is for Ryan to make a friend, right? He has to first think about when he makes a new friend, he has to think about whether those new friends like Ryan because of his YouTuber or they like him because of his true personality. And he always have to ask that question to himself first, and that's something, the normal kids wouldn't have to experience.
But even before we started YouTube, he had several friends that he have known ever since he was pretty much born that knew him before we even started the channel. So he's able to still have friendships outside of YouTube. And now that we're in Hawaii, he had made several friends that he played online games with all the time. And when I talked to the moms, some of the moms actually, was like, my kids know Ryan, but don't really watch him per se. So he's able to build that friendship, not because he is famous or anything, but because they generally like Ryan.
Yeah, because when he played with his friends, I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about YouTube.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that to be the main part of the experience with his friends. So he wants to play video games and he wants to talk about what he likes and what he does. So it was really helpful. He find friends like that, and we trying to be very cautious about connecting Ryan with his new friends too. We first trying to approach the parents of the child and making sure we feel safe and comfortable with Ryan hanging out with his new friends. and then Ryan can start having the play date. So those extra steps now we're taking into the account now because we want to make sure we keep the Ryan's privacy and safety there. But that's something that we had to do because of the YouTube. But it's not an issue that you cannot manage. This is very manageable cons. You just have to stay on top of it to keep your child safe.
Yeah, and it's not as if we're, hiding him and not letting him go out. Because if you watch many of our videos, we still go to the park, right? We still go to the museum. We still go to the water park. So we do get to experience all these things as a family and going to places where there is abundance amount of people.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate with our fans too. Almost every single time we meet fans, they're all so nice to us and very respected. They respect Ryan as well. They always ask us before they approach Ryan, hey, is it okay if I say hi to Ryan? Because I think a lot of them, they're also parents too. They understand where the line is, and they want to make sure Ryan feels comfortable, their parents too, so they understand that part. So I'm glad a lot of fans are really, really supportive for us too. Yeah, I feel like we have easier time with fans than the other YouTubers. I hear other YouTubers having issue with the fans, but we haven't really had any issue with our fans. They're all very nice to us.
Thank you.
Another con is as the scaling up and the fan base grows bigger and bigger, it is harder for us to kind of comply with every fan's needs. We get emails from every single fan. Hey, can you do birthday wishes? Hey, can Ryan do shout out? Can you come to our birthday party? It's harder now because, one, to be honest, I get hundreds of those emails almost every day. And we, as much as we want to help them or reply to them, it just now the number is too much. So as much as we can, we're trying to put our time to connect with fans. So one example is we partner with Make-A-Wish Foundation, and their children who has pre-existing condition, who's not feeling well, and at the hospital we're trying to meet them in person, or sometimes during the COVID we do in a Zoom meeting and then talk to his fan. So we're always trying to find a way to connect with the fans, but because of the scale now, we're not able to connect with every single person. But we always connect with the fans through our YouTube channel, so there's always there. But that's the one thing we're missing is the more one-on-one connection with the fans now. People always ask us about the fan mail address. Hey, where can we send our mail to you guys? There isn't one right now. And we tried to think about how to do it, but then at that time we thought it was just going to be too many mails would be sent to us, and it's just impossible for us to manage it. So right now we're still figuring out how to do it, and still the plan is for us to provide some kind of a way for the fans to send some message to us. So we're still figuring out, but that's coming along the way.
Yeah, we really appreciate it as much as we love to receive those fan mails. And I've seen some online of the drawings. It's so cute. Thank you so much. One thing that we do value is Ryan's privacy. So even in the beginning too, we were so hesitant to even tell people that we're from Texas. And some people did figure it out because apparently Texas grass is different than the rest of the country.
Whoa. And that I didn't know, but just we have to be like, we were so careful with what we show in our video. Even water bottles, there is some specific brand only appears in Texas, so we even hide those labels. We try not to show water bottles. So that's how much we're trying to be careful with where we live. But now we're a little bit more open about it. I think we feel like we were able to maintain our privacy while providing that information that we used to live in Texas.
Right, because even us moving to Hawaii, we were talking, should we even tell people that we move? But seeing the places that we go and our background, I think that it's pretty obvious that
people's gonna be, oh please, you guys definitely in Hawaii. But all the time before we mentioned about we live in Texas, a lot of the biggest guests from the people were like we live in California or LA.
Yeah, so when people ask, I hate misleading people, but I just didn't want to reveal the information that we live in Texas because to us, Ryan's privacy is very important. That's why, too, for filming, we try not to reveal a lot of personal information. A lot of times when he had play dates, I never recorded. I don't want people to know who he's really friends with or the places they would go out together. And also, when he is seriously injured or when kids have temper tantrum, because, Ryan and our twins, they're just like any kids, right? So they do have moments where we do have to, step in and say, hey, you can't do that. Or, especially with Emma and Kate, right? They're little, they cry all the time. But those are the things that we just draw the line of what not to put online. And as we mentioned, I don't think that we're perfect. I'm pretty sure we have said something or filmed something that we regret. But our main focus is to just maintain his privacy. Not just Ryan, but for Emma and Kate too. That's why we don't reveal like where he goes to school. And even if we say he goes to gymnastic, we're not saying where exactly it is.
Right. And something we have to think about is for his generation Z and Alpha, they have to grow up with the social media around, right? As all these business leaders right now around the world, they all have the presence in the social media. So eventually when you grow up, you have to be able to talk to those various amount of people, audience, not just in person, but also through online too. That's a really important practice for you to have before you get to the leading position. And I feel like Ryan, it's something Ryan already have. He learned it through doing YouTube. He was able to connect to the viewers through the camera. Even though he doesn't see the audience in person, he was able to envision there are millions of people watching him, and he's able to deliver his message to them. So that's a key important skill the people eventually needs to have when as they go into the start working on their own. Right now, we mentioned that multiple times, there is no really set guideline for the YouTube for the creators to follow when we film with the kids. So each individual parent who film with their kids have to put in a mindset how we can make things better for kids, how we can keep it safe and keep it entertaining for the kids to be on camera. So that's something we always constantly thinking, and then we also connect with other creators too and brainstorm the idea how we can improve the filming condition. A lot of our team members right now in the studio always just put their time to think about how we can make it better for Ryan as far as his participation goes.
Another con is we do receive a lot of like negativity with kids in the digital space. Because, in the beginning, I asked that question, what is the difference between kids doing digital content versus kids on TV? And the comeback I always get is, well, there's the Coogan law, right? That helps protect the kids in Hollywood. There's a set hours that you can only film if you're making a TV show or a movie. And I agree with all those. And I also agree with the fact that, yes, there should be some sort of regulation or some sort of standard or best practices that is needed for this digital age.
And it's hard to regulate because TV, yes, they have the guideline for the in the United States and different regulation in France or other countries. But on the YouTube, everybody is on this single platform. Online, everything is connected. So how do we regulate that? There's so many different countries using the YouTube as a platforms. So in order to place the regulation, it's really difficult. You have to kind of go across the countries to regulate everybody.
So that means you think that all the countries have to get together and agree on the standard?
I think a great start would be starting with United States first, because that's where YouTube is, and then everybody else could follow. But hopefully even it's not regulation, hopefully there is a good practice guideline place for the family creators to how to film with the kids.
Right. So we can't speak on other family creators or kids content creators. We can only speak for ourselves. So again, we mentioned, the Coogan law is 15%. We feel that we put way more than that. The majority of money goes to Ryan.
And another thing is the Coogan law. They're just placing those funds into the kids' saving account, and it's not really ideal. When you think about it, there's inflation in each year that is, probably 1-2% inflation. So the amount that you put into Coogan account, it depreciate over time. So if truly the ideal would be putting into the trust account and then invest the fund in there, so it accumulates the value goes up along with the inflation. So all those things that you have to think about, and I think many creators not doing it because they don't have these information available to them. It's just always just hard to know about these things. We didn't know about Coogan law when we started YouTube. And not until we started the TV, but then we put aside money for Ryan, regardless.
Right, and the set hours thing too. Yes, TV and movies have a set hours, but when we started doing Ryan's Mystery Playdate, to me too, I feel like it's a pretty high amount of hours per episode. They did a great job on if Ryan needs a break, he's gonna get that break.
Just filming time is quite a lot, but in addition to that, another requirement is if it's a school days, then the kids have to also go to school with the set teachers while in a filming day. So there is a time set for breaks, and there's a time set for kids to take a class with a set teacher on set, and then there's a filming time, all built in their one-day schedule. So I thought it was a lot for the Ryan. Ryan actually really quick learner, so he doesn't have to memorize the script like other, I guess, talents. He just memorizes as he just enters the next scene and set, and then he just memorizes within a minute. So he doesn't really spend those break hours memorizing the next scene's script. Sure, other kids, other talents, I'm sure they are reading through scripts during their break time.
Ryan's set teacher is great. We love him so much. Ryan always look forward to the new season of Ryan's Mystery Playdate because the people who are creating the show on set, they're so nice to us. And we really appreciate it. They're always very accommodating.
Yeah, they always ask us for the if any things that needs to be revised or improved for Ryan, and they're always up for the ideas too. Every time we talk about the new season of Ryan's Mystery Playdate, the first thing we always ask is, can Ryan get the same set teacher? Because Ryan loved his set teacher so much. He's very enthusiastic about teaching. And, it's even outside of just curriculum too. There's one day, they were learning about the social studies and then talking about police officers. And his set teacher was nice enough to coordinate with the LAPD and had Ryan go to LAPD and talk to the police officers there and learn more about their roles in the community. So it's not just in a set, just opening the textbook and teaching Ryan the required curriculum. He goes beyond and teach Ryan a moral lesson. Sometimes he even tell Ryan, hey, this person, one of the crew helped you on this. Maybe you should write a thank you letter to him. So the moral lesson too, Ryan's set teacher always just give it to Ryan.
So thank you for that if you're ever watching.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
We miss you. But yeah, back to topic. As I was saying, yes, there is a set time for movies and television. But to us, too, right, we didn't come from that world. Ryan is not a set kid. We feel like that is a lot of time. The fact that I actually love the digital world is that we can create content when we want. What is the time per day for TV? I think at his age, it's like
it
8
varies,
hours,
yeah,
right?
it varies on the age and also the whether if it's during the off school day time or during the school day. But yeah, it's in a way it's great because they're considering the kids' age too. So as they grow up, they could do longer. But then when they're younger, it's a lot shorter time. So even throughout the Ryan's Mystery Playdate, we've been doing that for a few years now.
Yeah.
Ryan's filming time has changed too. So because he's growing older.
Yeah, but at home we try to keep it very consistent, 3-4 hours a week, which is in the TV and movie world, that is nothing. Because a lot of time, if you're in that world, it's you have to redo your lines, or they need to get different camera angles, or you're just waiting around on set, really, because a lot of time they need time to set up,
Yeah, because they're working with 100 crews. So there are a lot of different teams putting together one scene. So there are a lot of waiting times, and there's some, issue comes up right before we start filming,
Right.
so we have to wait more. So those are the kind of things that we experienced that was different from between TV and YouTube. We were supposed to talk about the cons, but another pros I thought a good thing about YouTube is you don't have to go through the auditions.
Right.
Typically, when you do the TV shows, you have to go through auditions after auditions, and you still don't get it, right? Even you probably get it, it was just a pilot, and then just they don't decide to not continue on the series. So there are a lot of rejections, those kids' talent have to face when they're little or even older through the audition. For us, actually, Ryan, even today, Ryan never have done audition before. So he feels like every hour that he put in front of the camera, it's always just out there, we publish it. So
Yeah, there's no gatekeeper for YouTube, right? So we don't have to get permission from anybody. We don't have to, please anybody to make content. As long as you have some sort of camera or some sort of, internet access, you can broadcast yourself. So we really appreciate that. Then, so instead of Ryan spending hours on set, which again, we love Ryan's Mystery Playdate, but with our filming, he's just at home playing, doing whatever he is with his sister, or playing online games with his friends, while we're the one that's mainly doing the prep work, setting up and cleaning up. Also, we're not trying to push like the star life on Ryan, because if we were, I think we would have moved our family to LA, but we moved our family to Hawaii for the purpose of just being closer to nature. We really want him to grow up experiencing what's it like to just go outside and have fun, and just go to the beach almost every day. And even at his school too, I think it's amazing and incredible that he's able to just see a whole bunch of mountain in the background as he's doing recess, as he's in PE.
I'm sure he hasn't noticed that yet, but I'm sure he appreciates it as he grow up. It's an amazing view, and being able to study there is great. And before we went to Hawaii, we've been looking for the new location for us to live. One, because we didn't want to move when Ryan's older. We wanted Ryan to grow up with his friends and community he feels comfortable and feels secure. So we wanted to find a new place where we could achieve that. In Houston, we definitely could achieve that too, but one thing is Ryan is really excelling his education, right? He is way above his grade level, and he's doing pretty much above the standard on any subject. So we wanted to take Ryan to the school where they could comply with Ryan's need.
Yeah, because during COVID, I did homeschool him for a year. And at the end of that year, we gave him like a California standardized test just to see how he's doing. And he scored pretty much like 99%. When I say pretty much, I mean all of it. He scored 99% on all the criteria of reading, writing, math, spelling, like everything. And even some of the subject areas, he was scoring way above grade level, like level 7, level 8.
Yeah, especially his reading skill is very high. It's equivalent to 7th grade, and that also we can see it because just the stuff that he reads, and then how quickly he observed the information from the script. Also, he's really fast. He just memorized really quick too. Spelling, he's really great too.
He loves spelling.
A lot of times it's hard for us to check on his spelling because he just spell out really quick, and we have to kind of think about okay, I think that's correct. Well, I have to kind of quickly type it, what he said, and then search it up.
That's correct, Ryan. You're doing great.
So, we wanted to make sure Ryan doesn't feel bored at school, right? He wants to be challenged. So we started looking into the new school and new location for us to live because of that reason. And we're glad we landed on Hawaii. Everybody is nice and very supportive. So we're glad we made that decision.
So we do live by this motto of filming revolves around our life, and that our life doesn't revolve around filming. I think that's very important because, you know, as we mentioned, I really want Ryan to be able to experience other things just outside of YouTube. For example, even as we mentioned, Ryan's Mystery Playdate, even when we started the show and we start talking to Nickelodeon and stuff, you know, we want to make sure that we're not, you know, taking Ryan months away from his school just to do the show. Luckily, they are very accommodating and that we're able to do the show mostly during the summertime when he is off. And because of the fact that it only takes 1 day per episode, that's why if you watch it, you're like, oh, they could have retake that. Or, you know, even us too, we're not good in front of the camera. Sometimes I can't even watch us on Ryan's Mystery Playdate because it's like, y'all need some acting skills, you know? So
yeah, the main reason why we were also part of the Ryan's Mystery Playdate, one we were offered too, but then we thought it's important for us to be there. When we first started, Ryan was 5 years old, and there are many things Ryan couldn't do or didn't want to do, right? So for example, like memorizing long lines, it's difficult for a 5 years old who just only done YouTube. So that's why Loanne, explaining about the challenges or some component in the show, those long lines, Loanne's taking it for Ryan. That's why she's there. And Ryan doesn't want to do some messy stuff or some surprises or in those, some moment like that, then I step in and do those kind of messy challenges for Ryan. So we are just, as I mentioned, we're just there to just kind of support Ryan for him to do his show.
Yeah, and we'll talk more. I think I want to dedicate like a whole episode on the behind the scenes of Ryan's Mystery Playdate and why we decided to take on the show. But for now, we just want to end with saying that we do believe there should be some sort of regulation or best practices for digital creators. And if that ever comes out, we fully support that because we really feel that kids should be protected. And if they're on camera, no matter how fun it seems to be, they should be compensated.
Yeah, and there probably needs input from the family creator, who's been on the front line too. So we're happy to give our input into the new initiative if there's anything happening now. But yeah, I think that's something. Hopefully, it will make a change very soon. We definitely don't want to shut this door and just YouTube to say, hey, kids cannot make YouTube, because there are a lot of kids just opening the door and making a great opportunity through their YouTube channels, and I think that's a great thing. We just need to make sure the parents around the kid have to make sure it's being done safe and ideal for the kids on camera.
Oh, another thing, since we're on topic of why we decided to quit our job and do YouTube, is we do want to say that as much as, because Ryan's our son and we can see how great of a personality he is and how much other kids resonate with him, we do realize and know that it is not 100% based on Ryan. It is mostly, I don't want to give a percentage, but I would say luck does play a big component into our success. Yeah,
the timing was great when we first started, and we didn't know about it until later. But when we started YouTube, that's when the kids started watching YouTube very early on, and that's when a lot of smartphones were being used in those countries like India and the Asia countries too, and many of them started watching YouTube channels. So we kind of align with that timing, the boom of the viewership of the YouTube from those foreign countries outside of the U.S. Really contributed to probably our success.
Right, and the type of videos that we're making too. During that time, there was a big trend of giant egg surprises that kids love to watch, and because we were doing those type of video at the right timing also helps too. And also, what's important to us is that Ryan wants to do it. We never try to force him to do videos that he doesn't want to do. And that's why, if you guys know, we don't have a TikTok account. And I know that a lot of kids are really into TikTok and it's like exploding. There's so many big TikTok stars, but we don't have a TikTok account because that's not what our kids are into. Ryan doesn't care for TikTok. He doesn't want to make TikTok videos. So that's why we don't have one.
Yeah, our business approach is always kind of mixture. Like whether, first layer we always have to think about is whether if Ryan would be happy doing it or not. So from outside perspective, some people think that we're making some business choice wrong, but it's mainly because we have that first layer, whether the kids would enjoy it or not. That's always comes out as a first layer for us to decide whether to pursue or not. So
right, and there's many business opportunities and experiences that we had turned down behind the scene because we always think about, will Ryan want to do this?
Yeah, I think the what we always measure is the Ryan's overall happiness, right? Would this contribute to his happiness? Would this new project is something that contribute to his overall happiness? And if it's no, the answer is no, then we decide not to pursue it. No matter how much financially it makes sense for us to do it, we still turn it down. And it's okay. I mean, even if we get some setback from that decision, we feel okay. That's eventually, I'm sure we will appreciate that we made that decision of not pursuing it, because if Ryan doesn't want to do it, I'm pretty sure the end product will not be great.
Exactly. I know I keep saying last thing, but last thing.
Last thing.
last thing. When we decided to do YouTube full time, we were, nervous, right? At the same time, because what if our channel tank and stuff like that. And there was a second video that, if you guys noticed, that just exploded. It is that outdoor, water inflatable, where Ryan opened Egg Surprise.
Now that video has the most view in our channel, and it's over 2 billion views. 2 billion. It's funny when I watch it on the on the phone. The view count is just 2B. That's it.
I mean, that's crazy for just like a non-music video.
Right. So that means not 2 billions of people watching it. That means many of the viewers watching over and over again. And that's the kind of the trait of those high view contents. It's the replay value. So people keep constantly watching over and over again.
But because I think it is the most viewed video on our channel, people always refer to that video.
Oh, I hate it.
And sometimes we get so embarrassed because.
So we established the production company. We have 30 people. We have animators, videographer, editors, and then boom, the newscaster showed that video. And this is how you use 30 employees to produce this content.
Okay, that was before we started. I was filming on my phone with really bad audio, and so we always get embarrassed.
There was no script. I mean, there's no script right now either. But we always
get embarrassed when that video showed up because we're always like, why couldn't you use a more fresher content?
So now I started kind of trying to control it by, hey, if you guys would love to show our video, here are some other videos that really correctly represent what we do now. So that's what we've been doing that. But before it was just always just cover our eyes when the those interviews or news segment shows that inflatable giant balloon video.
So I think we're going to end here with this segment because first it's getting really long. So join us next time when we talk more about the business side of YouTube. What is it like starting a business? And really want to talk about our first controversy. I feel like that was something I was not expecting when our channel exploded and a lot of eyes were on us.
Yeah, and I'm sure when you start YouTube and when you succeed, pretty much any YouTuber will face some kind of controversy or negativity from their surroundings. So yeah, I think that's important how knowing how to manage it. So we'll talk about that on the next episode.
Oh, I forgot the sticky word of the day.
Sticky word of the day. Today's supposed to be yours.
Oh my gosh.
Vietnamese word.
I don't know any. Okay, so our next segment before we really end, the sticky word of the day.
Woohoo!
Today's word is thank you, because we want to thank you so much for, number one, watching to the end, because it's a really long episode and show, and thank you so much for your support over the years. And even if you're new and just found us today, thank you for everything. We wouldn't have gotten to where we are without you guys. Thank you. And in Vietnamese, because I'm Vietnamese, how to say thank you is cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn.
Yeah, at least that one I knew it.
Cảm ơn.
When I practiced Vietnamese to impress Nguyen, that was the first word I learned, cảm ơn. But that's where I also stopped learning too. So
you know one more.
Sữa.
That means milk.
Yeah. So when when we were taking care of Ryan when he was a baby, it's interesting. Ryan only knew Vietnamese at that time, so a few Vietnamese words I still remember from back then. Ryan forgot everything now, but yeah, the sticky word is cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn for watching. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next episode when we talk more about maybe the business side. We're not sure what it is yet. Let us know in the comments below what you're really interested in.
Yeah, what kind of business topic you want us to cover. YouTube and outside of YouTube too. We've done so many things over this past year, so we'll talk about that on the next episode.
For now, thank you for watching. Bye,
Bye.
Stickies. Thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, and also let us know if that's a good catchphrase or not. We're just still gonna 50-50 on it.
Yeah, and you guys probably be like, why do you guys, I still don't understand the chopstick thing.
Yeah, if anybody feel offended calling you guys stickies, just let us know too.
Yeah, we don't know.
I thought it was kind of catchy, but just let me know.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Till next time, have a fantastic day.